Hey everybody, this is Tottenham FC USA. Thanks for stopping by. This video is just to give you a quick overview of the Guardians of Teltoc. I'll be going over the available heroes in the Teltoc summons, as well as the balance adjustments that were made back when they altered Telluria and Vela. In addition, I'll have a chart later that lets you know which enemies you should expect to face at each Teltoc stage so you can prepare your best teams. As always, please like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon so you can keep up to date with all my latest posts. Now on to Teltoc. To be honest, when I started playing, I never really cared for this event the first few times it came up. Guardian Panther was pretty sweet, but Guardian Owl and Kong always came across as really crappy heroes. My outlook changed when they expanded the Guardian family, with Guardian Gazelle being one of the few heroes I'd sell a kidney to have on my team. One recent addition was Guardian Bat. For a 3-star, this guy can do some real damage in bloody battles and rush tournaments. He's a purple wizard with a pedestrian 437 attack and a pretty sad 418 base defense. His hit points are much better, coming in at 862. All of that with average mana speed doesn't scream must-have, right? Then you get to his special. His Merciless Bite deals 270% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. Again, kinda meh, but hold on. That damage is increased by 60% for each dead ally. That means when your team is dwindling and you feel like you're out of the match, this little bastard will put you right back in the thick of things. Say you're down to just Batty here and your enemy has 3 heroes left. If you can cast Merciless Bite in a rush tournament or bloody battle, that's a killer. He's a hero that I see a lot of strong players rounding out their tournament teams with, even if purple isn't the dominant color. Our first 4-star is the Red Paladin Guardian Falcon, a guy who looks like he could be the cousin of Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Immediately, his base stats kind of pop off the card for both good and bad reasons. His attack is a stupidly low 552, but that's followed up by a stupidly high 754 defense. Then his 1126 hit points kind of settle in the middle. Definitely the stats of a paladin. He's only average speed, which is kind of annoying, but with his defense, he can hopefully stick around long enough to let it loose at least once. Blazing Beak, which is a really stupid name, deals 225% damage to the target and nearby enemies. Well, with a 552 attack stat and average speed, that kinda sucks. What keeps Falcon interesting is that he gives an elemental defensive down of 54% against fire to the target and nearby enemies for 4 turns. When he's lined up against a green tank and a red stack, that can break a team. My thought on Guardian Falcon is that he's not a star, and he isn't going to win you anything on his own, but he can be a pretty solid support hero if you have the right team around him. Next up is a hero that I've discovered is a must-have. I've seen so many great players raid against high-level 5-star defenses with Guardian Jackal in their lineup. From the jump, he's a yellow rogue. I love that. Alongside fighter, rogue is the class that I covet the most. That ability to dodge? Priceless. Unfortunately, when you look at Jackal's stats, you can see why that rogue classification is imperative. The exact opposite of Falcon, Guardian Jackal hits like a mother at 765 attack, but his defense is worthless at 531. His hit points aren't doing you any favors either at just 1032. This guy must be emblemed if you can afford it, because you want him to stay alive and get off his special as often as possible. Luckily, his mana speed is very fast, which is kinda rare for a 4-star. I think we can all agree that we love that, right? His Ray Strike deals 270% damage to the enemy, but more importantly, the target gets negative 54% defense against yellow for 4 turns. Meaning, hopefully, by the time that elemental defensive down is over, you're about ready to hit him with it again. Guardian Jackal and a yellow color stack just ends opponents. He's freaking tremendous. If you get him, level him. I would. Fingers crossed. Now, on to the 5-star heroes. As I mentioned from the top, this is an event that Small Giant kinda screwed up in its first iteration, and they've made a few minor adjustments in the recent statistical balance to try and make up for that. We'll start out with the Red Barbarian, Guardian Kong. His card looks kind of cool in a Planet of the Apes as directed by Akira Kurosawa kind of way. To keep up with their trend of skewing stats to an extreme degree, Kong's base attack is a whopping 786. Meanwhile, his defense is a wafer-thin 587, ridiculously slow for a 5-star. They try to make up for it with a 1433 HP, but there's just no getting past that defense stat. And at average mana speed, forget about it. Originally, Guardian Kong's special, Lord of the Jungle, dealt 220% damage to all enemies. However, since the character balance, that's been boosted up to 250%. With that base attack of his, a 30% jump to an attack all isn't exactly something to sneeze at. They try to make up for his weak D by giving all allies 94% defense against ice for 4 turns. That would definitely make him more viable, but the problem is, he's still just average mana speed, so you have to get that special to fire if you're going to keep him alive. Once you get it going though, you should have 4 turns to try and keep him rolling. This defensive buff is still dispellable. Another new feature added to Kong in the balance is that he now dispels status ailments from all allies. And if you've been watching my videos, you know I love me a good cleanser. All told, with the balance, I think they took an unplayable hero and made him a consideration. He's not going to bowl you over, and that average mana speed still kills me. But at least they recognized how badly broken he was and gave him a little TLC. Speaking of broken heroes, let's talk about Guardian Owl, shall we? Out of the gates, he's a yellow druid. There are just so many amazing druid heroes that it will simply never come to pass that I will use my treasured emblems on this top-hatted Jagoff. Let's keep going and I'll explain. His attack stat is 601, so you're basically telling me that you get no tile damage from a 5-star. His defense is stout as hell at 795, and his HP are 1483. Okay, I can get behind those stats, until you make him very slow mana speed. WTF, small giant, why is any hero very slow? In order to make him workable, you need to emblem the hell out of this dude. I'm not stripping Vela of those leaves on Guardian freaking Owl's very slow mana ass. If you somehow keep him alive, Guardian Owl's stately retribution used to give him 235% damage to all enemies. Then that damage was increased by 60% per dead ally. In what I'll call the Telluria rebalance, they moved his special's attack up to 280%, but dropped his increase per dead ally down to 50. I admit I haven't done the math, but it doesn't seem like a huge change when his base stat is just 601 and he's still very slow. His special also gives a 46% defensive boost and regenerates 765 HP over 5 turns. Now, I've seen a few people run him as a tank, flanked by 2 1-star heroes with snipers on the wings. The theory here is that you immediately boost his attack by 100% when those 1-stars die, then if he stays alive, he deals 380% damage to all enemies. The problem? He's still very slow mana. To me, that means you're counting against someone color stacking and just praying they get a crap board. If you feel differently, I'd love to hear why in the comments section. Just keep it clean. Next, coming seemingly straight from Wakanda, is the badass Guardian Panther. For the longest time, she was the sole reason even to think about Teltoc to me. A, she's purple. I need purple. I'm thinking about leveling a freaking Grimble people. That's how bad my purple situation is. B, she's a fighter class, and as I said earlier, the chance to revive is right up there with the rogue's ability to dodge. Keeping with the Teltoc theme, she's attack heavy and defense light, with an attack of 786 and defense of 630. Her HP are 1349, so pretty decent. Part of what makes her special is that we finally have a fast mana Teltoc hero. Her Eye of the Panther attack does 210% damage to the target and nearby enemies, so not sniper level hitting, but it does hit 3 and it's fast. To keep with another Teltoc theme, she lowers the target and nearby enemies' defense by 54% against purple for 4 turns. Put her in a purple stack and she will punish a yellow tank or titan. On top of that, she dispels buffs from the target and nearby enemies. I'm guessing I'll never personally own her, but I'm a fan. Ugh, time to go put another 10 1-stars into Grumble, I guess. Now on to the 2 recent additions to the Teltoc family. Guardian Chameleon. Guardian Chameleon. What to say about this goofy looking dude? The basics. He's a green wizard. Wizards are fun, I guess. He's the first Teltoc hero that isn't super heavily weighted statistically, with an attack of 714, a healthy defense of 780, and an average HP of 1339. He's average mana speed, so yeah, that. His special is Elemental Magic, which removes all dispellable and undispellable status effects from all enemies. Dispelling something undispellable kind of makes it dispellable though, doesn't it? I don't know, just saying. I mean, I do love me a cleanser. And Chameleon is where Small Giant decided to go with this whole meta of screwing with shields and colors and all that jazz. He changes the element of all enemies to the element that they're strong against for 4 turns. So, Aslar becomes green, Telluria becomes blue, the world's turned upside down, and nothing matters anymore. Then all allies get a 54% attack boost for 4 turns, and a 36% increased chance for a critical hit for 4 turns. I've actually never encountered him in the wild. Not in a raid, not in a war, so I can't tell you how great or terrible he is. He seems like a 5-star Kirill with a cleanse instead of healing, I guess? With this dude, it really feels like one of the character designers from Small Giant went on a trip to the Amazon, did some fake shamanistic ritual where they licked hallucinogenic toads, and he came home with this awesome idea for a chameleon character. I don't know. Moving on. Guardian Gazelle. Looking at her, the artists definitely decided to keep it weird, but I kinda like it in this case. She's a yellow druid. Lots of great holy heroes and druids these days. They finally threw out this whole meta of tilting stats in Teltoc and gave her 751 attack, 741 defense, and 1324 HP. This is what I expect from a 5-star these days. She's only average mana speed, but then shit gets weird. Okay, check this out. She removes all dispellable and non-dispellable status effects from all allies, except herself. Okay. I love me a cleanser, but she doesn't cleanse herself. However, she does regenerate 612 HP over 4 turns, so that's nice. But to be clear, that's only for herself. Then for 4 turns, all heroes except Guardian Gazelle start dancing the Dance of the Spirits that gives them 100% attack boost, reduces all their received damage by 50%, and gives them immunity to all new status effects. Meaning Vela sends her wave at your dancing heroes, and yeah, the initial hit gets them, but there's no DOT. Same with fire or poison, or defensive down or negative attack, they just dance on past it. However, if Guardian Gazelle dies while your team is dancing, they'll take 100% damage and lose all of their mana. If you've ever seen her in action, you know that she's freaking amazing when it comes to raiding. And her stats are good enough that I don't even know if she needs emblems as a raiding or titan specialist. But again, someone at Small Giant has definitely been licking some hallucinogenic toads or something. In this case, I can dig it. The Guardians of Teltoc family bonus is for defense and healing, depending on how many Teltoc heroes you have on your team. The Teltoc event itself is set up pretty much the same as every event. In this case, you're going to want to leave your yellow holy heroes at home, because their attacks are reflected, so you only end up hurting yourself, which stinks, because I wanted to use Kvasir on the rare level. Is it me, or does rare, epic, and legendary sound a lot like Tall, Grande, and Vente? Did the developers at Small Giant start out at Starbucks or something? Anyway, as you can see on this chart, created by the wonderful Marianne, on the rare level, rolled energy starts at 1 and proceeds up to 5. The epic level runs from 2 on up to 6 at level 15, and legendary runs from 3 to 7. You may want to do a screen grab or pause to take a look at this chart, as it shows which color enemies you'll face as well as the bosses at the end of each fight. As always, you get challenge coins for every level you beat, and can draw extra challenge coins when you face toothy chests during the event. A single pull in the Teltoc Summons Gate is 10 challenge coins. I believe you can also make individual pulls for 300 gems or 10 pulls for 2600. For newer players, watch my video on power leveling your team, links below. If you're patient, these events are a great chance to add a ton of experience points and collect a bunch of extra coins. Good luck on the event, and when you pull from the summons, may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm Tottenham FC USA, and as always, please like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon to keep up to date on my latest Empires and Puzzles posts. Later.